which is fun. Met a lot of people so far. A lot of faces to names. That's the best part, I think, so far. We had a lot of writers that I hired for Hawk Life for our blog. And I know a lot of the names. I talk to them all the time. But it's nice to actually put a face to a name, and I'm really bad with names. I know them and I recognize them, but I told everyone I'll look at your badge the whole rest of the week, even though we've spoke 5 times. But it's good so far. It was good to catch up with Tony and Tom and you and me, everybody. So
got to give you props for my new business card. So
I saw other people doing it today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, why are they holding their phones together? And then I realized what they
Yeah.
were doing. We started a trend here.
Yeah, there you go. We taught some people some stuff. So what ended up happening was I had, like a dumbass, forgot my business cards, and Paige was like, "Oh, well, I wonder if there's like a business card app." So I started researching it and stuff like that, and I was like, "Oh, I'll be damned, there is." So like you scan a little QR code, I hold my phone up, scan a little QR code, and gives all the information or whatever that would be on your business card, or actually more information.
You can put all your socials on it. That was the best part, I think.
Yeah, you can put links on there, YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean,
Apps that I have even no idea what they are.
yeah, it was pretty slick. Not that we're sponsored or anything by them, but
No name dropping.
it's a game changer. I mean, it really is. That thing is cool.
Yeah,
But
I like it.
yeah,
And you can do it professional and at work. I don't know if you saw that.
yeah,
So for like me, that'd be helpful for side businesses or my own thing that I wanted to do. And then with Hawk.
I didn't even think about. Well, so mine says personal and then work.
Right.
So I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that's
Which
yeah.
a lot of the people here, they do a normal job and then they freelance on the side. A lot of them, I
Yeah.
found that out. So that'd be really helpful for them.
Yeah.
Separate the two.
Well, and that's something a lot of people don't realize. Like a ton of influencers in the outdoor industry have regular jobs, and then they do this because it's like their passion.
Right.
So
Even with TV shows that we sponsor,
Yeah.
some of them do. It is their full-time gig, but a lot of them, they think people see them and think that they live the life, because you get to hunt, all day long. They're like, well, like sometimes I got to go to work to make
Yeah.
this happen. But, there are the few that do get to live it and work
Yeah.
it for a living, and that's great. So,
Well, it's great, but I mean, it really is so much work. Like, I told you I still have 80 videos. This will be 81 to edit. And I mean, I've got tons of podcasts to do. I've got, so the people that are doing this on the scale that they're doing, they either have a team of people that are helping them or they are just so busy.
yeah,
I mean, it's
I couldn't even imagine.
crazy. Well, how long does it take you to edit a photo for Hawk?
Quite a while. Luckily, I don't have to do the majority of them. They either come edited to us or our UK team does them, thankfully. Because I had to edit all through college, and I like it, but it took forever.
Yeah.
So I'll gladly pass that job off to somebody else that enjoys doing it more than I do.
Yeah,
Editing is hard. I mean, I have to edit a few things this afternoon, and they're pretty relatively easy. But it's still just making sure you get it all right.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so monotonous and intricate, and it's like later. Yeah. So my problem is I'm always like, I'll go through and edit a picture, and then I'll get done with it. And I'm like, it just doesn't look right, and then I'll have to go back and revert it or all that kind of stuff back
Right.
to the way it was, and then
A graphic designer's files are like edit 1, edit 2, edit 3, edit 3A.
yeah.
That's how all my files are on my computer. It's horrible.
Oh,
But it's because I made so many different changes.
yeah.
But I kind of liked it, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it or not, so I saved it. And then I never delete any of them.
So I know what you do, but why don't you tell everybody else what you do with Hawk?
I'm the sales and marketing coordinator. So I help our sales team with anything that they need, our rep group. And then internally, I do the marketing for the U.S. So trade shows, I manage our internal relationships with TV shows and industry relationships with people like you, people here at POMA. I'll get to go to SHOT. I'll get to do some different networking, and that's amazing. I do the Facebook, social media. Our UK team does Instagram. We work really close together, but pretty much any aspect of marketing, I kind of have a hand in. It's a very small office for the volume that we do, and you never know it. But I think we all work really well together, so we get it done at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's you guys do a lot. I mean, you really do. And I've bounced,
Hmm.
some ideas off of you and stuff like that in the past, and yeah, been really cool to work with. And even though we're not really working together, it's just been really cool
Hmm.
relationship and all that kind of stuff.
That's
So
what this industry is. It's relationship building, and it's
yeah.
who you know, and there's not that many people to know. It's a very small, tight knit
Oh, it
industry,
is extremely small.
which is okay because I like my small circles, and you keep those good, solid relationships,
Yeah.
and it's easier to build them when you don't have to try to build hundreds, when you can build, dozens, and you're good.
Yeah. Well, and you come to events like this, and
Hmm.
it's like you really see how small it is. Oh, this person knows this person, who
Uh-huh.
knows this person. It just turns into this like, oh, well, it's like this incestual web of like everybody knowing everybody, and
Uh-huh.
it's so it's crazy that people would even want to burn bridges, but it's like,
Right.
man, if you burn a bridge in this industry, you are,
This can be hard.
yeah,
I'm being told that, and thankfully I have never had to cross that path, and I don't want to or plan to, but I've been told that a time or two of, even competitors or, people that you don't necessarily work with directly, keep them all in your good graces, and, you know, you can have
yeah,
a little fun, but, at the end of the day, we're all stuck in the same pond together.
yeah.
As
So
somebody put it the other day, we're all in the same sandbox.
exactly, yeah. Yeah,
And the
actually, that's
sandbox is
that's
not
true.
very big.
No, it's not. And every once in a while, you'll find a buried turd or something like that. So how did you get involved with Hawk and really what you do? I mean, because
Hmm.
I've even bounced like school
Hmm.
stuff off with you. Not, I'm not cheating. Just so you know, she's not doing it for me.
I
But
wouldn't anyways.
well, I mean, you don't have enough to do,
I
so.
know. I'll just do all your schoolwork at night. It's
Um,
fine.
but yeah, so I mean, with graphic design
Hmm.
and all kinds of stuff like that, I've bounced some
Hmm.
different drawings and stuff that I've done off of you. And so, what is your background? What do you do?
So I've always been into art. It was something to keep me busy because I was always bored. I had to be into something. So my mom gave me art. I got creative. I loved it. I've always been a creative. Had no idea what I wanted to do. I tried different art classes through school. Finally landed in graphic design classes, and I found that I liked it. And it was it was almost a thing that I knew I could erase it if I didn't like it. If I paint a picture and I mess it up, you have to restart or somehow botch fix that picture, and it's hard. So graphic design is like, well, I don't like that. And I scratch it, and it's like it never happened. So that aspect of it kind of resonated with me. So then I kind of pursued that as a degree in college, and I majored with a Bachelor of Fine Arts and concentration in graphic design. Um, and still, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I did a little bit of marketing for a smaller construction firm in my town, and just went through school and kind of dabbled. And right before I graduated, I've always been a hunter. I've always been in the outdoor industry. I've been hunting with my dad for over probably 12, 13 years probably now. I don't even know how old I am. Something like that, long time. But my dad's hunted way before any of me and my sisters were born. Um, it's just always been ingrained in who we are. I grew up on a farm. Was always country girl. You'd never know it, but I was. So it's just always been a thing. And if you can mix your work with your passion, it's not work. And at the end of the day, that's what I wanted to do. So I started looking for, even just for an internship, really, is kind of how it started. I snowmobile, I like to boat, I'm always outside. Um, so I was looking for an internship for school to be in the outdoor industry somehow. And that made me think, why can't I do this for a job? So I started looking. I never knew hawk was in my backyard, which is amazing because they're very, very big and upcoming in this industry. Um, and so I just magically looked one day online. I was just searching for different jobs in the area in graphic design, and it popped up, and I applied, and it was like a God grace that it just kind of fell in the right time, right place.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right? Like if you really want something, you really want to be somewhere, you have to take those steps to try and get where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it worked.
Yeah. I feel lucky. I feel blessed.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out that smoothly. There were times that I'm like, I'll just do whatever, or I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I knew I didn't want to sit behind a desk and make logos all day. That's not who I am. And I thought I'd honestly end up creating somehow, like hands on. And I don't really do any graphics, which is kind of odd. People think, okay, well, you're a graphic designer, but you can do so much. I learned animation, I learned 3D, I learned I can paint, I can airbrush, I can code. They teach you all this stuff, and it's a fantastic degree if you want to be a creative, but still don't know what you want to do. I learned a little bit of photography, learned I didn't like it. I like to take pictures, but I'm not good with all the settings and, all that fun stuff. So when I found that I can do marketing, I'm still using my creative side of my brain, but I'm not really hands-on. I never thought I'd end up in that, but I love it.
Yeah. I don't, the one thing that, you're right. I mean, it is such a diverse degree. Like, you wouldn't think that it, you wouldn't think that it would be, but it also affords you, with that degree, a lot of opportunity to be able to work from home if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do freelance graphics, you could do freelance coding, which is a big thing right now.
Oh, yeah. Coding is huge.
So you can kind of set your own hours and, but I mean, you really get into it and you're not really setting your own hours.
You just work all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really cool degree. I'm semi sort of going through the same program, not obviously at the same school, but same sort of program. And yeah, it's been really neat.
It's eye-opening, all of the things,
I had no idea.
I had a guy ask me, he said, my daughter's getting close to college age. She wants to go into photography, but I don't want her to I don't want her to do that degree. I said, well, why not? And he goes, well, you can't make money in photography. I said, I call bullshit, because you can. You don't want to know how much I pay some of our photographers sometimes to do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at people like Tony Bynum and Tom Opry, and they charge the prices they charge because they're worth it, because they've established that reputation. Their work is phenomenal, and they deserve it.
Well, they have an eye for catching, like, say for a product, right? They have an eye for catching the product in just the right way, or, showing that lifestyle with still catching the logo and
right.
Or, I mean,
it's
just
things
the
that
light
the
in
normal
certain ways.
person.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a really trained eye, and the different perspectives, the different lenses, different angles. I mean, background, lighting. I mean, there is so much that goes into that kind of stuff.
Right. And, people sit and think, I had a previous boss that was like, I can't believe she's going to school for art. She's never going to make a living. And here I am making a living, doing exactly what I love. And the petty part of me wants to just rub it in people's faces like, you can do it. Try it out. If you get into graphic design school or get into art school and you decide it's not for you, fine. Go do something else. But if you have a passion, then do it. And I also told that same person, I'm like, what does she have to lose? Look around, even in this room, every single thing you see in this room was designed by someone. Someone got paid to paint that mural on the wall.
Yeah.
Or someone got paid to make the shirt you're wearing. Like, everything is based on art, and people don't understand that. Somebody had to get paid to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Architecture, engineering, all that kind of stuff. Like, if you're dealing with CAD, I mean, that's
good.
Yeah.
That's good money right there.
Speaking of designing shirts, so you want to get a shirt designed or a shirt made, hit this girl up. She made one for me, which is I've gotten so many people. Oh, where'd you get that shirt?
That was the best shirt.
Yeah, it said, "Take your head out of your mask, America." And now you came up with a couple other designs that you're wanting to come up, which I've already got people that are like, "Oh, that is freaking awesome."
Did you send that out?
Oh yeah, I sent it to a couple of my brothers and some friends and stuff. They're like, "Oh, that's awesome. I want that shirt." But
it's cool. I have fun doing it, and that's just something I do for fun on the side. keeps me occupied. I love graphic tees myself, so why not make them? I get to make my own designs and, get to make people laugh along the way too.
Yeah.
Maybe poke the bear a little bit every once in a while.
I would say is a little more than every once in a while with some of these designs, but or maybe you just send me the designs that I'm gonna laugh about.
Right. Not everybody accepts those designs the same way you do.
Well, I've got kind of a sick mind.
No context around that. People aren't going to understand, but
Yeah, probably.
they're not like anything bad.
No,
They're just
not.
very political and
Yeah, a lot of them are very political or just.
it's the only way I get that out, my feelings out. I don't post a whole lot about political on social media because I don't like to argue. And
Well, not to mention you almost can't.
right, they censor a lot of stuff now, and so I
Yeah.
put it in my art.
Well, and even that, I mean, you're seeing in the outdoor industry who is on which side of the aisle and who's on the other side of the aisle, and
Just very fascinating.
you just never know. And it's like, okay, so we have a mutual friend that's starting to have some trouble because he's posts a lot of very political stuff, and he is most of the time when he posts, he's posting a lot of left-leaning stuff. I know him pretty well, but he's more of a centrist, and you you post that kind of stuff, and an industry that we're in, which is a highly dominated conservative industry,
Yeah.
and you just made some enemies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and vice versa.
Right.
I mean,
I don't assign myself to anything really. So I'm not like, I'm all this or I'm all that. I have feelings about everything and but obviously, I believe a lot of the things that everybody else in this industry believes in and but I know a lot of friends outside of the industry that maybe don't lean that same way. So I know you can poke the bear and friendships on that side too, not just in the industry that you work in. So it's like this balance, and I like to stay away from it. Lately I've been sharing a little bit more than I normally do, but it's because I'm passionate about it. And if I feel strongly about it that I'm set and I know this is fact and this is like true to my heart, I really don't care what you think at the end of the day anyway. So I'll post that, but for the most part I don't like to do it.
well, I mean, it's such a small industry, and it's such a small world. Like, you don't know who's coming into the industry.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Tony Smotherman earlier with Bergara, and we were just rapping, just talking stuff like that, and so obviously we're with Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, and we're just talking about Rocky's new signature series of calls and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, do you know Mike Matley? I'm like, yeah, I know Mike pretty well. Mike's part owner in Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls now. And he's like, oh, Mike used to be my boss, at this other company. And I'm like, man, it's such a small world.
It is a very small world.
And it's like, you can't burn bridges.
No.
Or you're going to screw yourself over.
Yep. I mean, even just coming here, I know a handful of people, but not very well. So you've introduced me a lot of people. And, or I'll go, yeah, Aaron's been showing me around. Oh, yeah, I know him. Or, it's just so connected to where you just build these relationships upon people. And
yeah. And not that I'm a super well-known person, because I'm definitely not. My Instagram will tell you that. But, I've come to make some pretty good connections in the outdoor. Tom has been phenomenal in this industry, and made friends with Brad with Go Wild, and some of these really influential people, and I just haven't figured out how to capitalize on it where I don't want to be famous. I will say that right now. I don't want to be famous, but there is a part of me that's like, from a business perspective, I know that I have to grow, the social media and, the YouTubes or Rumble or whatever platforms you're using, which Clubhouse is one that I'm going to think I'm going to start using, especially since we do podcasts and stuff. I think that
Right.
would be pretty interesting for me. But I mean, that kind of stuff, I need to figure out how to grow and
And I feel there's a difference in growing for your business versus, you see a lot of influencers that people follow that they'll never, go hunting or they'll never buy whatever they post about. They just follow them for one thing and that's it. So is that beneficial? They have millions of followers, but how many of those are, really going to help you with your business? So it's like that happy medium of you're not to the point where everyone follows you because of one little tiny thing that you did. But they're following you because of what you do every single day.
well, and the important thing is engagement.
Right.
I mean,
You can reach all the people you want, but unless you
Yeah.
tap that button,
Yeah.
what does it matter?
what did we learn about social media today? So there's a guy here used to work with Facebook, which has been very interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Good insight.
some really good insight. What did you think about that whole
I thought the
thing?
whole seminar was great. I mean, the Facebook stuff was really interesting. I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one that's experiencing it though, because it feels like it sometimes.
Yeah, what do you got going on?
So with Hawk, we had a plan. So we have a new line of Sidewinder rifle scopes. Big launch, and our whole marketing plan was to push this as much as possible. Part of that was individual new touches through Facebook advertising. Had a nice chunk of change set aside for it that we wanted to advertise. We really wanted to push this and say, this is a product worth investing in. Let's advertise and reach targeted people that you can actually, say, I want to target that person specifically. It was so good to be able to have that, you could do that. And I tried it and it ran for like a week and then it wouldn't let me run it again. So then I dove into and I had dug into Facebook's, all their rules, everything they say that you can and cannot do. I've
And
read.
it's so convoluted.
It is, and I read blogs and I read forums and I called Tony Bynum and I called other people. Like, what do you do to make sure that my ad gets approved? And at the end of the day, the result was you just try because it's either a no or it's a yes. And seems to be no rhyme or reason. And I agree with that because I ran it. It had 0 rifles, it was the scope floating in black space. That was it. I followed their age restrictions, everything I could possibly do, and they rejected it. And I was so frustrated. So then I went on to try to boost a post. They rejected it seconds. I went hunting with one of the TV shows that we sponsor. Me and Camo, a pair of binoculars. That was it. And I don't even think you could see the binoculars. I think they were in the case. Wouldn't let me run that as an ad either, which was weird. So I'm like, did they blacklist our Facebook account? Like, is it us? So I waited and every once in a while I'd see a different ad, dead deer, rifle scope, gun, it pop up, but they didn't last long. And then I finally found a notification from Facebook that they said that all advertising in this industry for firearms and firearms accessories have been temporarily suspended in the U.S. And I'm like, well, what do you do?
I wonder why just in the U.S.
Right. I don't know if it's political. I don't know if it's what it is. But that's what it said. And I'm like, how is that even? I'm like, what good does that do me when it's my U.S. budget?
Yeah.
We're global and they can probably advertise, but that doesn't help us any.
Yeah.
Which was really frustrating. On Instagram, you can't target. Like, we can target U.S., we can target U.K., etc. On Facebook, you can't do that on Instagram. Or at least to my knowledge, you can't do targeted in specific areas or demographics like you can on Facebook. So, we can advertise there, but again, that's a global thing. It doesn't specifically help me get into the U.S. market. So I haven't tried it to this day. That was it was probably a month ago. I was just so fed up.
Yeah.
And obviously hearing in the panel today that I'm not the only one that it's been happening to.
That's a bittersweet feeling.
It is. Like, I'm not alone, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
Justin with National Shooting
Yeah.
Sports Foundation. He said,
Oh, that was nuts.
what did he say about his account again?
So just in their name, apparently, and I haven't had a chance to do this yet. I want to do it. But he said if you type in National Shooting Sports Foundation, it will pop up something saying, violent content or something like that, and they
Right.
don't post anything like that.
Right.
Um, so just the fact that it says shooting
Shooting
is
sports or shooting anything.
yeah is
And it's like they like targeted that word. Like there's
yeah
keywords that like I showed you that chart earlier, completely different topic, but still same, examples of, it's if you post about this, even if it's that word, we're gonna take the post down. Or if you post this word, we might
hmm
censor the picture. Or if you do this, we'll just give you a warning. Like they have these
yep
levels, but not everything falls into the same category. So how do you even do that? And yet, this is what frustrated me. Um, Body parts, nudity, drugs, violence, anything like that is all, I don't remember what he called it, but it was all classified under the same umbrella that they censored NSSF under.
yeah
How
which
is
is
that even right?
well what's really weird about that is I've there well actually um I don't know how the hell it came up on my phone, but in Facebook there was like it was like light porn that was coming up in
What?
yeah in so they've got these like suggested group followings or
Mm-hmm.
like I guess somehow it figures out the kinds of stuff you like and then it'll suggest certain videos or whatever.
Right.
I
I've seen
is
that.
the only thing I'm thinking, right? So all of a sudden I start seeing this video and it looks like this girl's like going down on somebody. Like you couldn't see any of the nudity and stuff like that, but you could clearly tell what was going on. And I'm like, where the hell did this come from?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so try and report it or whatever. It wouldn't even let me report it.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so something is clearly amiss here. It's like something's going on. And I'd seen it like that same sort of thing happen multiple times. And I'm like, something I don't understand. How is it, you're taking down hunting posts and, different food
Right.
posts, butchering posts, stuff like that, but you're allowing this kind of stuff where kids could get a hold of it and,
Right.
you know,
I think it's an agenda. And I know people probably call me a conspiracy theorist for thinking this way, but
yeah.
it's not. I think it's a political agenda at the end of the day. Everything revolves around that. I mean, it's no doubt that Facebook, isn't really a firearm friendly industry,
Yeah.
I mean, they do lean a little left.
Which reminds me, I saw a meme the other day. I meant to send it to you. It was freaking hilarious. It had Mark Zuckerberg throwing a javelin at a target, and he had ear pro on, and he was like, he said something like in the meme, like it said something like, "This is all the protection I need" or something like that. Something stupid like that, and like you read all the comments, and it's like, why the heck is he wearing earring hearing protection? Throwing a spear, it's like, what the heck, it's like he's that stupid,
Right.
it's like
You wonder some days.
you're the smartest dumb guy I know,
I mean, if you think about it the way you just described, you're okay, somebody's going out and actually fending for themselves and trying to build a sustainable lifestyle for themselves by hunting and butchering their own food and feeding their families. But yet there's content that should not by any means be anywhere on the internet. Like it's
well,
just
yeah,
absurd. But then it's on Facebook, so if your child just happened to scroll through on your phone one day because you left Facebook up,
yeah,
then what? Hey, Dad, explain this.
yeah. Well, and Nick Hoffman was saying earlier, he was like, I don't understand it. I was holding up a hog quarter
Mm-hmm.
and it got blocked, but my buddy, who's a chef, is holding up this big bloody tomahawk steak
Mm-hmm.
from a buffalo, and that's fine. He's like, explain that to me.
Right.
And so the guy, his name is Chuck, that worked for Facebook at one time, he was like, well, the only thing I can think is that the like the bots, or I don't know I guess there'd be bots or whatever that
Right.
scan the pictures and stuff. If it looks like it's in a kitchen setting, it lets it go. What is the difference? It's
Right.
meat.
Right.
you know it doesn't make any sense.
It,
It's ridiculous.
it just goes back to censorship at the end of the day. I
Yeah.
mean, there's been proof time after time again lately coming out that it's all about censorship. It's what they want you to see, what they want you to know. Just like that graph I sent you earlier.
Yep.
We won't get into that discussion because that'd be a whole nother podcast. But at the end of the day, it's about censorship. They want you to think that either everybody likes this and everybody wants to do this, so you should do it because they get rid of the content that says no to it, or vice versa. Nobody posts about butchering animals. Nobody posts about guns. Nobody posts about shooting and hunting. So therefore, it just doesn't exist. Like they just don't want you to
Yeah.
see it, and it's not right. I mean, I know it's their platform and they're gonna do what they want, but you made this platform for people to express themselves, and these are our rights that we have, and yet you're trying to fit everyone in this mold of this political agenda to say we want everybody in this country to think this way. Communism. Okay, let's not go there. But not everybody's going to go in that mold. That's not, we live in America. And that, I think that's where it's going is, well, if we don't let you see that, Paige hunts, then maybe Aaron won't hunt. It doesn't
Yep.
work that way, but that's what they want you to do.
Well, the guy from Taurus, speaking of communism, not that Taurus is communist. I didn't mean it to sound like that.
That
but
did not come out right.
Yeah. So anyway, he's from Argentina, and that's why I brought up the communists. So he was saying last night when we're all sitting around talking and all that kind of stuff, networking, and he goes, "I left Venezuela because of all that stuff going on in Venezuela. And just horrible conditions, all that kind of stuff, and come here, and some of these places here are turning into that.
Yeah.
And it's like, we better freaking wake up.
Everyone needs to wake up.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I have no words for it. It's just absurd that the proof is right there. You see time after time after time again. It's going on. They're trying to put it in our schools for our kids. They're trying to block everything they don't want you to know on social media, which is the only way we can reach everyone around the world. It's like, how is that?
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't have words.
I told you, like, what I'm having to write about in my class,
Which is not even art related.
Yeah. Well, the way they say that is it's because of design. Like you said, everything has to do with art in some form or fashion. So
Right, but you're designing in the U.S. You're not designing for wherever the heck they want you to. Political appropriation or cultural appropriation, I guess, per se.
That's what it was about, is cultural appropriation. Like, I have to write about cultural appropriation, and I really just do not grasp the concept. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. One of the examples that they gave was Rihanna wore this traditional Chinese dress sort of thing. And that was cultural appropriation, but their definition of cultural appropriation is when a dominant sect of people take from a non-dominant sect of people or a minority group, and they don't take the time to research the style or something, that culture and the tradition and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so does that mean that black people are a more dominant culture than Asian people? Or, I mean, isn't it just that you're celebrating the beauty that comes from like a different place?
And that's the difference, is because when you sent me that, I didn't know what it was. So I Googled it, and then I found that definition of cultural appropriation. Then there's cultural appreciation, which is what I think that we do very well. Okay, Native American, you have heritage or history, you celebrate that in certain ways, shapes, or form. That's great. That's appreciating that heritage and that culture.
What about Cinco de Mayo?
Right.
Like,
I mean, I like tequila and tacos.
Yeah, I'm half Mexican. And I don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo really, but it's a time for everybody to basically get drunk. Nobody understands what Cinco de Mayo was all about,
Right.
you know? And
But
it's
we're not
like,
trying to make it our everyday life.
yeah, who cares? I mean, really, at the end of the day, who cares? I mean, well, obviously somebody cares, but it's like,
I
quit being so damn sensitive.
Everything is so sensitive. I think your paper needs to be about the difference between appropriation and appreciation and be like, look, we appreciate, Rihanna or whoever you said was that her,
Yeah,
like
Rihanna, yeah.
whatever she did. She's not doing that every day of her life. That would be appropriating it into her life, right? Like that's how I understand it.
Yeah.
She's showing appreciation to that culture and their heritage and the way they live. But then it's done after the end of her music video. So, like, what
Well,
is it? I
so
don't get it.
my issue with it is like it's a double-edged sword because according to what I read, and somebody please correct me if you're listening to this and you are just that passionate about these political topics, please talk to me. Please. I really want to understand this, as ridiculous as it sounds. But if you're a dominant culture taking something from a non-dominant culture, it's cultural appropriation. If you're a non-dominant culture taking from a dominant culture, it's forced assimilation. And I'm like, oh well, that both sounds negative,
It
so it's
does.
like, what? I mean, so at what point is it just okay? Well, we're just celebrating the good things that come from this multicultural world that we live in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not
It's
everybody fits
absolutely
in the same
nuts.
box.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. So what are you looking forward to here at this convention?
Networking, meeting people. I love to talk. So this is perfect. We could do this for hours, I'm sure.
Oh
But
yeah,
at
probably.
some point we need to eat dinner.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
We have like an hour
Okay.
more. We'll go.
Cool. Well,
We'll sit here
I'm
for another
actually
hour, but
looking forward to shooting day.
me too. I don't have to like I say work, but I don't have to like present anything. Like today we had the
Yeah.
tent set up. Our inside sales rep came down, did a great job being able to talk about the products with people who asked. You got to pick up the rifle scope and look at it, and it was great. It was hands-on. We weren't sure what tomorrow would be like, so we didn't know if we should participate, so we didn't. So I'm really excited to just kind of take a back seat, get to go shoot, get to go try some stuff, get to talk to some people. I think it's going to be really
Yeah.
exciting.
I'm there's so many different products here that I'm so interested in trying. Like I want to shoot. Bergara came out with a new rifle. They shortened the barrel on this rifle, and he goes. Tony was like, "We're getting lambasted for it," but we tested this rifle, and he's like, "There is no difference in accuracy."
Really?
He's like, "It is like driving tacks at 1,000 yards."
What makes the difference? Is it more lightweight? Is it just
Well,
is it the
yeah,
compact?
so it's for more like the backcountry kind of hunter and stuff like that. He said right now it comes in 6.5 and 308.
Nice.
It's got a 70% bolt instead of a 90%. So you've got a short throw on it. It's got a removable magazine. It's got an extendable buttstock. It's got a threaded barrel, so you can put a can on it if you want to suppress it. I mean, it is sharp.
Nice.
I can't wait to try that thing.
I'll be in line right behind you.
Yeah. Oh, an adjustable trigger.
Oh, nice.
I mean, this thing is like,
The
and
works.
he goes, it's less than $600.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Put
less
that on
than
my Christmas list.
That's exactly what I told him. I was like, well, I just drew a cow tag and I've got a bull tag. So one of my elk is probably going to be taken with a rifle this year. So I was telling Tony I've been hunting with the same 270 Savage since I was 12 years old. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah, we need to hook you up. He's like, we need to do something about that. So I'm really excited to try that out, decide whether I'm going to buy it, which I'm probably already going to buy it.
No doubt.
Yeah. And so another thing that I really want to try is the what is that company? I can't remember the name of the company, but it's an air rifle, like a high pressure air rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, it we've got competition shooting and stuff like that with this thing, and it's like drive-in tax, 100 yards, just.
Wow.
So I'm really excited to try that as well. I think that'd be so much fun.
I don't want the week to end, but I want tomorrow to come.
Yeah, I know, right? So, yeah. So anything else you're looking forward to?
Food. I
Yeah.
love food.
Yeah, I know, right?
And just
It's getting that
conversation
time.
and, meeting people. And
Yeah.
I've met a lot of good people so far, but there's so many I have not talked to.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of people, even though there's not a lot of people, but there is,
Yeah.
to have good conversation. You can't get to everybody, unfortunately, but
I mean, a couple hundred people
hmm
and so diverse
yep.
in what they do and stuff like that. It's really hard to,
Mhm.
even in a few days, it's
Yeah.
really hard to like get to the bottom of what everybody does and how you can collaborate together. And it's tough. But I mean, this is like it's a non-stop sort of thing. It's like
Yeah.
2 a.m. is when you go to bed.
And, and 6
Wake
a.m.
up.
comes way too quick.
Yeah, but it is really cool.
Yeah, I love it. I'm before dinner we need to go down and I'm registering for Kalispell for next year.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to go back to Montana.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Well,
Besides the crazy heat that you have in the summer and the crazy snow that you have in the winter.
crazy heat.
Didn't you say it's hot there in the summer?
Well, not compared to where we're at right now.
It doesn't get this hot.
Yeah, it gets this hot, but we don't have humidity.
Oh, that helps then.
Yeah, like
So I could get down
yeah.
with the summer then.
Yeah, so here you walk outside and it's like putting a blanket on
A wet
on
blanket.
yeah, on top of you. And
It
it's
is
like
so warm.
ugh,
Yeah.
like so ridiculous. Montana, you walk outside and it's just like okay. Well,
So it's hot, but it's not humid.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be too bad then.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
But your winters, they can get kind of crazy.
They
Sometimes.
can. It
Depends
a
where
lot
you're
of,
at.
A lot of that depends on where you're at. Like, so where I live, we call it the Banana Belt because the Bitterroot Mountains block a lot of the weather that comes from like northern Idaho and stuff like that, and it swings around and it hits those mountains right there, and it kind of jumps the valley, and then goes over and hits the sapphires, and then
Oh, nice.
and then goes on the other side. So we don't get nearly as much snow or cold weather as like other places.
Right. But it
So
can get pretty crazy.
it can. So we were filming in Brockway. I was filming with Tom actually. I was in his Mule Deer Foundation video, and it was like negative 17 degrees
Wow.
without the wind chill.
Oh, burr.
Yeah,
And I like winter.
and
Not that.
it was ridiculous, and I was like not dressed like I should have been because somebody kind of screwed me over on that. Like, because certain companies were sponsoring this video, and so we had to use their stuff, and they sent us stuff from like the southeast,
Oh, no.
and like synthetic glove, like these like spandex gloves and
Ugh.
like thin jacket and stuff like that. No pants, so I had to wear blue jeans.
Oh,
I was
no. Was it
miserable.
snowing?
Oh
was it
yeah,
just-
there was like 10 inches of snow.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so you're walking around in all this snow and stuff like that, and the wind's blowing, and it's like you can only stand so much. And you know how Tom is. Oh, okay, well you need to walk back the other way. Oh, no, walk back this way.
Do it again,
walk back
please.
the other way. Oh, no, walk back this way. And I'm like, you know, I'm like dying. You know,
Oh,
like
my.
my hands like stung so bad until they literally went numb.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, yeah, we gotta do something about this. Tony was like, I can't believe you're even letting them stay out there like that because it is
That's
so
so
cold.
cold.
Yeah, he's like, I feel bad for you guys. Like, But yeah, it was. Yeah, it can be cold, but that was, that's pretty far east.
Okay.
You get a lot of wind and stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah, if you pick your spot, it's not so bad.
I could do that. I love Montana. I've
Yeah.
only been there once, but I fell in love with it.
Oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. But anyway, so where can people find you?
Instagram.
Oh, awesome.
You can find me on Instagram and nowhere else.
Uh,
um,
so you want to plug Hawk or?
yeah, always. It's like my other passion, which is great. But yeah, so our Facebook and Instagram is Hawk Life on both, and we have YouTube.
Well, Hawk dot life.
It's
right?
Hawk.life on Instagram, and it's just Hawk Life on Facebook. YouTube, I don't know. Just type in Hawk Life. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like, do they do like
I think you. Yeah.
usernames or it's
Yeah.
It's Hawk Optics on YouTube. I can't talk. No TikTok. No, no any of that fancy stuff. I won't even get on TikTok. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I've held out this long. I mean, that's the best way. I answer all your messages on
Cool.
Facebook, so I don't know if I should have put that plug in there or not, but or you can call our office, get on our website. There's a lot of ways we're trying to reach the digital
Yeah.
era, of life, and that's where it is. It's on the internet, so I mean, Tony Bynum, we were talking when I first got here, and he said, I used to go around and not see Hawk much, not on TV, not on social media. You didn't hear the name much. But we've put so much time and effort and funds behind our marketing efforts lately, especially in the last year. And we've really narrowed down to what's important. And it's working because he said, I see it everywhere now. You see it on TV, you see it, being used by influencers. It's hard to find somebody that has not at least heard the name. I've met a few here, but not many, which is good.
Yeah.
That means it's paying off. And
Good
so,
deal.
so you can find us on the internet.
All right.
Usually in my stories a lot. So
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah.